All right, the 49ers have a brand new defensive back. We'll tell you who it is and a little bit about him coming up next. But first, we are brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. Say hi to Damon, say hi to Mary, the owners of Pig and a Pickle, and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right, let's talk about the newest 49er. The Niners have signed cornerback Shemar Jean-Charles, cornerback who played at Appalachian State from 2017 to 2020. He was a 2-year starter there. He's now 25. He's played with the Green Bay Packers. Going back to college, he was second-team All-American in 2020. He led the nation with 17 forced incompletions in that 20 campaign. He's a 5'10", 185-pound cornerback who was a fifth-round pick of the Packers back in the 2021 draft, and their scouts loved him. Just read a couple articles about how their scouts in the draft process really, promoted this player, and they really liked him. He ran 4.52, so just a mediocre 40 time, nothing crazy fast. He's an athlete from Florida. He went to Miramar High School in the state of Florida. He was a 2-star recruit and then went and played for Steve Wilkes' alma mater at Appalachian State. And then the Packers drafted him, as I said, 5th-round pick in 2021. He played 20 games with Green Bay. He's never started. He did play one playoff game with them. In 2020, he led the FBS with 16 pass breakups and 12 starts. He's a guy that can play inside and outside. Talked to John Lynch about him yesterday during the presser. He said he's a boundary corner, but he can play outside. He can play inside. They like his speed, and they feel like he can play special teams. One of the things that really stands out about him is that he's incredibly feisty and competitive. The Packers scouts love this kid because of his mentality. He just has tremendous confidence, tremendous belief in himself. The trait that kept coming up when you heard them discussing Shemar Jean-Charles was how feisty he was. He's got excellent agility, really quick feet, very good instincts, and just a very competitive player. As I said, he can play outside on the boundary. He can play inside on the slot. He's got special team ability as well. He's got some experience playing special teams. He was better in man coverage, but he's played zone as well. A lot of people really looked at him as a nickel corner. He's not an every down guy. He's a guy that's going to come, in the sub package, and he can play a bunch of different spots. He allowed only a 30% completion rate in that 2020 campaign. And, if there's a downside to him as far as, what his reputation is, he gets a little too grabby at times. He's a lot of times when guys struggle in man-to-man coverage, they will grab the receiver and they get a little they clutch and grab and try to hold. And unfortunately, the officials at the NFL level oftentimes penalize you for that kind of stuff. But what's really nice about this player is he has great on-the-ball production going back to college. He was a semifinalist for the Thorpe Award. The Thorpe Award goes to the top defensive back in all of college football. So the fact that this guy was a semifinalist coming out of Appalachian State tells you all you need to know. But just great on-ball production. As I said, he only allowed a 30% completion rate in 2020. He really had a fantastic year that year in 2020, and second-team All-American that year. So you're talking about a guy who was fairly decorated college player. The Green Bay scouts loved him. They probably would have gone after him in like the 6th or 7th round, but their scouts loved him, and they pushed him up, and they took him in the 5th round. And he was coming off of an incredible season in 2020 where, he led the nation with 17 forced incompletions. So if there is, the one thing about this player is he has struggled against the run. He's not the biggest, most physical player, 5'10", 185 pounds. So he's not the biggest, most physical corner you're going to find. but a guy who's got experience playing inside and playing outside and playing on special teams, and he's confident, and he's got that swagger, and he's got good instincts. Really strong all around athlete. The 40 time is just pedestrian, right? 4.52. It's fine, but it's nothing that makes you go, wow, this guy's a 4.3 corner and he's got speed to burn. He's not that kind of player, and he's not really physical against the run. So he's really more of a nickel guy who, has experience playing inside, but he's a little bit of a liability inside against the run. If you're playing that slot corner, you got to defend the run. And, so we'll see exactly how the 49ers use him. But John Lynch seemed to be really encouraged. He said their pro scouts got together. They liked some of his traits. They liked his feistiness. They liked his competitiveness. And they liked the ball skills. So he said their pro personnel guys took a look and obviously, reviewed his film from Green Bay, and they like what they see. So this is a guy who adds to their depth on the in the defensive backfield, and we'll see exactly what he looks like, when he puts on the Niner uniform and gets a chance to play. Now, if you look at the 49ers in the secondary right now going into the season, they had 4 safeties and 5 corners. So their 4 safeties are Talanoa Hufanga and Tayshaun Gibson. They really like the ball skills of both those guys. Hufanga's, a terrific young player. Gibson's the veteran back there. George Odom and Jair Brown are the backups at safety. Odom is, really one of the best special teamers in the league. There was a time last year that he was leading the NFL in special teams tackles. And then Jair Brown was the Niners' highest pick this year. They grabbed him in the 3rd round, traded up in the 3rd round to grab him. And you can see in camp there's a lot to like about Jair Brown, especially against the run. He's really, really physical. He'll step up into the hole and hit you. So those are the safeties. On the corner, they've got Mooney Ward, Ambry Thomas, Diamador Lenore, Samuel Womack, and the 5th guy being Isaiah Oliver. So those are the 5 corners they're going with. Oliver is the nickelback, and he's going to play the slot most of the time. But then you also heard that Diamador Lenore is going to play the slot a little bit this year as well. So the 49ers announced their 16-man practice squad as well. And I would imagine Gene Charles is going to go on that practice squad. The defensive backs that they currently have on the practice squad, they re-signed Quantrez Knight. So that was good because Quantrez can play the corner. He can play the slot. I was really fearful when they cut him that they would lose him to waivers. But he slipped through waivers. So now he's back on the practice squad for the 49ers. And they also have Trey Swilling, who had a real good camp, especially as the thing moved along. Swilling really played better and better as that thing moved along. So, and now you've got Shemar Jean Charles added to that practice squad as well. The Niners didn't officially announce the move, but they probably will here in the next day. Now, he could take Swilling's spot on that practice squad, or he could take somebody else's spot. But they've got a little bit of depth now on the practice squad. They're 5 deep as far as the active roster in the secondary, and we'll see. But the nice thing about Gene Charles is the instincts, the ball skills, the feistiness, the fact that he was one of the better players in college football. His final year at Appalachian State means that he should be an interesting prospect to take a look at least on the practice squad to begin the year. All right, hope you enjoyed the video on the newest 49er, Shemar Jean Charles. Thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show. And, of course, thanks to our sponsor, Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And once again, thanks to everybody for your continued support of the Krug Show on YouTube.